to find out where these drugs are coming from. Dr. Almiral from Florida International University has been working in drug forensics for over 30 years. In March of 2015, he responded to a request from the federal government for research on a way to find where heroin is coming from.
When I saw this request for developing a database for heroin samples for the purpose of determining geographic origin, I responded to that call.
Dr. Almiral knew that Dr. Ali Pourman from UN's Rosenstiel School of Marine and Atmospheric Science has the ability to analyze a certain isotope he thought might help find the source of heroin.
Dr. Almiral and I were talking about some of the viable approaches that we could take to test to see some of the geochemical techniques that we typically use for tracking the sources of dust, for tracking different geological processes could actually be implemented in this new way to tell us what the potential source of heroin may be.
They discovered that an isotope called the radiogenic strontium isotope, which is usually used to analyze matter like fossils, could tell them where a batch of heroin was from.
You can look at arrowheads or archaeological artifacts and look at their geochemical composition of the strontium isotopes, and it'll tell you potentially where that arrowhead originally was quarried from.
For example, scientists can tell where opium poppies have grown based on their unique strontium properties. This discovery will help the DEA pinpoint the country where the poppies for the heroin was grown.
So in this case, the hypothesis was that the plant, the poppies, basically get the strontium isotope composition from the ground on which they grow, they preserve it, then when the processing of heroin happens from the opium that comes from that, it does not affect that geochemical signature. It adopts it, it brings it over.
So why is it important to know where heroin is being produced?
They want to know where the heroin is coming from so they can focus their law enforcement efforts in a particular area or a particular group. So it's really for intelligence purposes.
In 2015 alone, the DEA seized 7.5 tons of heroin. Joshua DeBoard, a PhD student at FIU and the lead author of this research, says this has been a very fulfilling project to work on.
If law enforcement can do something to stop the heroin from getting into this country, especially they could work with international law enforcement at the source of where the heroin is coming from, I feel completely fulfilled in the work that I've done.
The DEA has estimated that heroin is mostly entering the U.S. from Mexico, South America, Southwest Asia, and Southeast Asia. If you would like to learn more about this research, visit the Rasmus School website at rsmas.miami.edu. I'm Portia Bowdish. Now back to you guys.